Oh, that's the wrong page.
Hello everyone, and welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns. So today, we have the Skyward Sword Randomizer Season 3 Tournament Loser Bracket Finals match Game 2 between Gymnast and Sledge. So on commentary, we will have KitKat and PP in the top hats, and on tracking, we will have Baseball and myself. So thanks everyone, and have a great race.
Alright, thank you, Alka.
Thank you. Hello, y'all.
Hello, everyone.
I'm sorry, I'm back. But welcome to our second game of Losers Finals for Skyward Sword Randomizer Season 3. Possibly deciding who is going on to Grands. We don't know.
Yeah, so I believe that from game 1, Gymnast has a 1-0 lead right now from Sledge, but this is a best of 3. And both these runners have been having very big, strong performances this season. Gymnast, where he got all the way to winners finals and losing to Jasnix, and Sledge absolutely dominating the losers bracket, taking out a lot of really known runners. So I think that right now Jim does have the advantage, and he could be going to Grands today. But honestly, I wouldn't. I think that this can still go either way, and I'm quite excited to watch this.
Yeah, absolutely nothing written in stone at the moment. Oh, it seems that they are off.
We're going.
All right. Okay. We are in sealed grounds. That looks like it's front-loaded on our dungeons.
We got the 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah. No gorge. No summit. Was there a third one that I missed?
There was not a third one. Those are the only two bound hints. So.
Oh my goodness.
So that's quite interesting, because initially, what I think that says is that everywhere else, apart from Gorge and Summit, has something.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Also, that's our B wheel. We're starting with Gust Bellows. That'll be nice for LMF, and we love seeing our B wheel come up on screen. If anybody missed winners finals, Jim had some issues with that, but hopefully he won't have any issues with it right now. But yeah, that means every region is pinging. We also have Bow and Gust Bellows pretty early. That's pretty good to have.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially the bow, it's a really strong projectile, so I think that both the owners would be very happy to have that early on. What was the hint? The hint was top for LMF was dead, so nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, but both ones will still have to open LMF anyway to get into the dungeon, but they won't have to do the chest.
Oh my god, Jim, what an opener.
Hell yeah.
Opener. Jim off to do the rope Floria trick to get to Floria, which honestly, I'm not sure how fast of a play this is, but hear me out. Very swaggy. Incredibly swag-ridden.
100%. I can't remember where I heard this from, but I think someone said it's a little bit faster. It's just, I think a lot of people don't go for it just because of how risky it can be. But Jim just executes it like a pro, so...
Yeah.
Clean.
Upper before G1, okay, that's good to know, especially because for G1 specifically, we don't have that many things that could be pointing at, especially with a Farron start. So we're really only looking for a Beetle, and then possibly Water Dragon Scale or Digging Mitts. And it seems Jim is predictably bailing on Farron after getting those couple of checks. There's really not that much we can do in Farron right now other than peek things when we don't have a Beetle. However, we can go to Deep Woods.
Yeah, I think that, especially with Upper Skyloft being path into Tagirahim 1, there's a good chance that's a Beetle, and a lot of the things in Farron are Beetle locked, so if you're in Jim's mind, it could be really worth going to that. And that hint was Chest and Shack, one of the always hints that appears on a few Gossip Stones. That's dead as well, so very nice information.
I apologize if y'all hear noises in the background. That is my puppy. Hello. What are you doing in here? He's come to commentate with us.
Hell yeah.
His name is Kokiri because I'm a nerd.
Chat, say hi to Kokiri.
Kiri, do you want to say hi to the chat? He looked at me. That's your hello. All right. Jim on his way to pick up his other hints. We're just doing some standard sky movement. Jim clipping through a loading zone. Let's go. Love that you can do that now. What check was that?
I believe that was
Rupee.
I believe it was the lower bomb ball rocking in Farron from Jim's side on the
okay. So
sorry.
Sledge also taking the time to knock down the chandelier to pick up 100 rupees. I'm not sure I would make that decision. That could pay off. We don't know. But that is a unfortunately pretty slow animation for not getting an item payoff. And like 100 rupees could possibly buy you 1 or 2 checks. It's a thing that is definitely a bit of a risk to take, but it's much faster to grab it now than it is to go back for it. So it is definitely, like, arguments can be made in both ways.
Yeah, 100%. I think it, in a way, it kind of depends on how mean Beetle wants to be.
Yeah.
If you know, if every rupee counts, then that is good for Sledge. But I think ultimately it's something that's like, if it was a gold rupee, it would have made more sense. I think that
yes.
With the silver, yes, still valid, but odds are you'll probably find some silvers and golds in the pool later on. Hopefully.
Yeah. Especially with the fact that we have a very early projectile. We are hoping that we'll see more. It's one of those things. Oh, there's a bottle. That's also gonna benefit Jim's routing a little bit, because I don't believe Jim has been to Volcano Island yet, which would be where you would ideally pick up the mushroom spores while you're getting your check. That was Stone of Trials! I was gonna ask, why did Jim ignore that red rupee? Because it wasn't a red rupee, dummy. My goodness.
It's a bit of a round red rupee.
Yeah, it's a couple of red rupees that were duct taped together.
Okay, Din's power, something possibly required. Couldn't quite see what that was, but interesting.
Yeah, I couldn't see how many items it was, but we know it was completely possibly required. And the way that the current... Oh, there's our upper Skyloft path.
There we go.
But the way that the hints work for the songs, it hints you whatever the most required thing is. So because it said potentially required, that means that we're not going to be finding like a Tringle or a hard required item there. So it's pretty safe to just go, nah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's I think with the hints especially, it's like, yes, in some instances getting a possibly required is useful, and sometimes it can be faster, but a lot of the times when it comes to trials, if you do get a possibly required, more often than not, at least when I play, I try and skip that, because more often than not,
yeah.
trials take a very, very long time, so I'll normally try and skip them, right, if I can.
Especially if you're not super comfortable with like harp cancel, and especially in settings like these where you don't know if you have to complete the trial reward or not. That possibly required could be 5 gratitude crystals on clearing the entire trial. And clearing the entire trial is really slow. So unless you're like in go mode except for a sword and low on bait pings or something like that, it's probably not gonna be the play. Speaking of swords, Oriel, why were you holding random weaponry on this island? I have questions. Should I be reporting you to somebody?
I mean, I'm not sure what there is to do with a sword on that island, given that island is just a flat piece of green land.
Also, that was a vanilla bottle on Potion Lady. Thank you, Potion Lady.
Nice.
We appreciate it. Sledgen has opted for the opposite route of what Jim opted for. Oh, that's a wallet. Okay, so... Oh, and Spiral Charge. There's a ping on Spiral Charge.
Interesting.
That was some strong pickups for Jim, because that wallet is going to do way more than that silver rupee. That was what Sledge did not want to see. And also Spiral Charge is going to give Jim a potential ping to return to. And also reminder that with these current settings, we actually get access to 2... Oh, that's Harp and Sword! My god! But we actually get access to 2 entrances in our starting region. We get access to where we started and 1 other statue. So we might see Sledgen and Jim returning to the pillar from the sky in an attempt to see what that other entrance is and see if it puts them in a more advantageous position. Beetle, what is your item acquisition stream? I have questions. Beetle's like, I have go mode! Thank you!
More or less. So in this seed, actually might pay off a little bit for Sledgen. They got the 100. Maybe not still. Depends where the other wallets are. Depends if there's any other monies. But I think that given the amount of useful things that Beetle has, not too bad to have more money than your opponent.
Yes. Yeah. Jim also making a bit magic file. You don't often see a bit magic file in races unless you got some racers who really feel like memes. Hi, how's it going? That one's me. But especially in race settings, it can be a little bit of a decision based on what dungeons you have required. So having the bit magic file might save a little bit of time in Earth Temple, a very, very small amount of time in Earth Temple, but it also is going to give you more routing options in LMF and potentially save also a tiny, tiny bit of time in Skyview. So the routing options in LMF is probably what we're hoping for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with bit magic files. I think the biggest one is Tentacle Skip when Sandship is required.
Sledge is opting for one too. Interesting. Yeah. Yes, Sledgen did make a save scum file, which is pretty smart. That's a pretty smart move with your money. Jim immediately going to Malara.
Cool. Making use of the Gust Billers.
Yeah, that is a immediately available check. Yeah, with 800 being required, it is pretty strong to have scummed to look at full Beetle. And buying the sword, that only unlocks 1 check to have an extra sword. But I don't think Sledgen has picked up the sword on Oriel yet. So technically, that unlocks quite a bit more from... Jim, what are you doing? From Bomb Bag. Sorry. Bomb Bag.
That's a good item.
That's an interesting thing to have as a housewife, but I do not question your hobbies. And Sledge also immediately going to Bomb Bag.
Nice.
Yeah, but from Sledgen's perspective, that sword probably looks a lot better than it does from Jim's perspective, because you need at least 2 swords to clear any of the dungeons except for LMF. So Jim is like, that unlocks 1 check that I would have to go out of logic to get. Sledgen's like, oh, heck yeah, that's a dungeon clear right there. Yeah, Jim does not get his ridiculously overpowered bomb advantage today. I'm so sorry. I'm assuming he just really wanted $20 in there. That's... You know what? I don't often see people go for just the rupee.
I think it was more of a strat when the wallets didn't give you money, but you know.
Yeah.
Extra money. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and reminder, it looks like Jim is ahead, and he probably is a very, very tiny amount, but this is really early in the seed, and also, Sledge and... Oh, that's claw shots.
Wow.
Jim, what is happening this week? But reminder that Sledge has also peaked more in Farron. For a second, Jim, you're not running any percent. But Sledge does, yeah, Sledge does know more of what he's doing in Farron as he is running a step behind Jim, but he is missing the sword that Jim found on Oriel, and he is also going for 20 rupees.
Nice. Yeah, I think that in general, I think a lot of this early game, like those first 50 minutes, is actually a really good example in how delaying some regions can pay off. For example, both Sledge and Jim had an opportunity to go to Farron. Jim, I assume, delayed searching through most of Farron to try and hope for a beetle, and in his mind, he had a pretty good reason to think that beetle would be on in Upper Skyloft. In this instance, it paid off for him, so he's gonna be able to do Farron in a more efficient manner than what Sledge did, and it's gonna inevitably save him time. So I think that like that's often when people say a lot of like, oh, should you like delay regions? This type of situation is a good example on why it's beneficial in case you get other items, so you can do the delayed area more efficiently.
I looked away for 2 seconds. Would Jim just pick up?
I was looking at Sledge and Scream. I'm not too sure.
What? Was that a third bottle? That was a third bottle? Jim going for bottle percent. Jim trying to win in the hearts of the people. All right, it seems like we do not get an extra entrance statue, but that is perfectly okay. Sledge also opting immediately for item and bird's nest, which is not a terrible idea. That's a pretty nice thing to get out of the way, especially considering where he was. And also he got that hint at... Oh, what are you doing to Sledge? Oh, that's an ET Keepy on Jim's side. We do need 2 of those. So that's a good pickup. Yes, we are EP Keepy today. Are you feeling EP Keepy today, KitKat?
Indeed. I am feeling EP Keepy today.
It's way later for you than it is for me.
It is. It's not like late, but it's like, you know, I'm sure in a few hours the EPs will start to come along.
Sledge found another 100 rupees. Jim going to pick up our hinted 100 rupees, which, yeah, that's very much worth it.
Like,
from that perspective. Yeah, no cutscenes, very quick. Very good. But yeah, we have a lot of early starting items.
Yeah, quite a few really good ones. Also, hello, ZeldaSpeedRuns. Thank you with the raiding party of
Welcome
53.
in, y'all.
We are doing some Skyward Randomizer, Game 2 of Losers Finals, Gymnast86 versus Sledge. Race just started. We've got quite a few really good items off the bat. And both runners are already doing different routing styles to this seed. But of course, it is way too early to tell what the result of this one will be. So we're watching the 2 runners just kind of battle this one out. And indeed, I hope the Wind Waker randomizer race was cool and all.
Also, Jim, did you need the slingshot?
I mean, in order to get the scatter shot, you need the mighty scatter shot. You need the slingshot.
Oh.
So I think that makes perfect sense.
Jim knows the truth, which is that he who have the mighty scatter shot have the victory. So he's oh right, this strat. I forgot you can do this. Is it worth 20 rupees? I don't know, but you can do that. But yeah, he's going for the moral victory, which is Mighty Scattershot plus Tim.
Did he buy Tim? I know Tim was there, but did he buy that?
I don't think Jim bought Tim. I don't know if Sledge bought Tim. I don't think Sledge bought Tim either. Tim is a tumbleweed. For all those coming from Wind Waker, Tim is a tumbleweed. Tim is a very good tumbleweed. Yeah, Sledge getting that sword that Jim already has, and Jim finding a Tringle. We need all of those. Let's go. And doing this cute little peek to find out that he does not need the other side. That's gonna be a nice little optimization. And then hitting a bird statue with a beetle. Good idea. I don't know, did you see if the upper bombable rock was pinging? I assume it is, based on the fact that Jim is going over here.
I think it was. I saw something ping from someone somewhere recently. I think that was on Jim's side. It's crazy how much my brain just didn't realize until I just remembered someone pinging something. Ballad.
Oh, that was Ballad?
Yeah.
Alright.
Interesting.
So that puts in logic an extra check for Sledgen, but not an extra check for Jim, because Jim is a poor boy and does not have the extra swords that Sledgen has. However, really Thunderhead is one of those things that's like, man, do I have to... I never want to enter Thunderhead twice in a seed unless I'm in, like, all sanity. So even then, I'd rather only single dip Thunderhead. So, Jim's probably going to put that off, and so is Sledgen, until there aren't any other options, or until we have White Sword. But he does have access to it, and Sledgen is probably about to get access to it.
Yeah, I mean, Thunderhead, it's the region that it's like, you just fly a lot in there. I guess there are also the, what are the skeleton enemies that fly around? I cannot remember what they're called for the life of me.
Oh, right, friends.
I'm thinking Magtail, but I think that's Wind Waker.
Are they Magtails? I think they might still be Magtails. I'm not sure.
There might be Skyward Sword's version of Magtails.
Sledgen also getting the slingshot. We have two moral racers today.
Hell yeah, Moldarak
Woods before Moldarak. Interesting. So
it was a slingshot, 100%. Scattershot is required for FF, 100%.
I was gonna say that could actually be pointing to Thunderhead with Ballad, but nope. Apparently, KitKat has full confidence. Spiral Charge was on Skyloft. That was on Pero 2. That is one thing that Sledgen, I don't think, got yet. So Sledgen has to go and get his bottle at some point. His extra third bottle, because that's required for victory. No, it's not.
Also, it's worth noting, Scattershot is required for MF. No, it's not. I'm beaming.
We are Mimi friends. What a cute trick. I love that trick. I really like this item loadout for Skyview. It would be better if we also had Water Dragon Scale, but having bombs in Skyview is... You got some cute tricks you can do. If we can find another beetle, there's a lot of really cute hook beetle bomb tech. But also having claw shots also just, like, in general, destroys intended progression for Skyview, because you don't have to do any of these water puzzles. We have claw shots. We go wee. That's what we do.
Indeed.
Alright. That's our guaranteed front half small key. Jim is setting up for back in time, I guess. Please don't die.
Oh my, he almost got hit by that sculpture.
Yeah. Oh. What did we get in the woods? We got the slingshot, which unlocks exactly 0 checks. We got Ballad. We got a silver rupee. That one's H. H, by the way. So, the fact that we got a small key early on is not great. Oh, Sledge's going for extending blow? And not
quickly.
Yeah, not getting extending blow. That trick, if you're not familiar with it, it looks very, very funny. It is RNG dependent and horribly inconsistent. You hardly ever see people go for it in Randomizer just because missing it wastes quite a bit of time. But in vanilla speedruns, it has relevance sometimes.
It's still annoying because
it sure is.
Sometimes Link goes wee, other times he just goes, you know, like ploop and just falls down, and yeah.
Sometimes you go in the void.
Yeah.
Tablet on Kiwis. Oh god. No.
We only have Emerald Tablet right now, and that's only because we started it in Farron, so we have yet to see Ruby or Amber.
Yeah, there is a possibility that it could be on Kiwis. That is true.
It could be. Kiwis is definitely very much this time like the sort of like it's the one check that a lot of people won't. I mean, I think there are many checks in Skyward Sword where some people might try and like delay it or orphan it. Kikwis is one of those. Good Wind Waker comparison is Bomb Island, at least for the mini blins ones. It's that one check that a lot of people just don't really like.
Yeah.
To do a lot. So yeah.
But is it Star Island? Is Star Island the one that everybody hates in Wind Waker?
That was the one everyone hated in Season 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Wind Waker. Nod. Sledge is dueling it out with a spider. So Jim did pick up both of his Skyview small keys, which is not great because we don't have a digging mitts at all. We have neither of our mitts, and there is a mitts lock check in front half of Skyview that you really never want to have to go back for. You can skip one or both of these small keys in Skyview. So usually if you cannot get that check, you're kind of hoping that it's gonna be a small key so that you can confidently know that you can skip it. Oh no, that's not the door I thought that Sledgen was at. No, that's the cute trick. I thought that Sledgen was just inventing new tech. I thought he was at the key lock door somehow, and I was like, what? No.
It is quite interesting actually, because it's like even though I've been playing this for a few years, some of these runners are doing things that I haven't really seen either a huge amount of or in a long time. So it's like, you know, you just like, I wouldn't have been surprised if Sledge just invented new trick there, or new tech, sorry.
Honestly, all right. Honestly, given Jim's loadout, I probably would have saved and death warped in this room. It's like a very niche thing to do because saving is slow, but without Water Dragon Scale, with bombs, already at 1 heart. Also, when did Sledgen get at 1 heart? What are the runners doing to me? Do they just want me to experience stress? Y'all.
That is like, I guess that's one of the things about Skyward Sword Speedrun is that we like to do things at very low amounts of damage because back in time, but it's also it is quite stressful because.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Sledgen, for picking up... No, he didn't pick up a heart. I thought he was going to pick up a heart. What? I looked away and he did pick up a heart. Oh my god. We did see another wallet in here, which is, again, good for Jim in that he did not invest more time in getting money. However, we're still poor. We're still poor. Beetle has all the things. Beetle has our harp, which unlocks a lot of checks, and our... Oh god, I really thought Jim was dead there. And our other sword that Sledgen has and Jim has yet to pick up. So, thank you, Jim. Thank
I
you.
won't lie, I thought these runs were gonna die like 5 times in this dungeon, given how close they've come. Like, each.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, we're using bow. I thought Jim was grabbing an extra heart so he didn't any percent and fail spider jump.
Yeah. It is quite funny because in Rando, you normally have options to not do the spider jump, but I think a lot of people, especially from the vanilla speedrunning community, will just do spider jump anyway.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, especially if I'm not in like a race scenario, I'll pretty much always do spider H, by the way. I'll pretty much always do spider jump, and I'll always do key seat if I can, just because like even if I'm taking a break from like Skyward Sword any percent or all dungeons or what have you, like it feels good to like sort of dust off the cobwebs of like these things that are pretty important to be consistent at for actual speed running for the vanilla game. Jim is doing vanilla intended Girahim 1 here, in that Girahim as a boss is always going to be damage based and not hit based. So Sledge will actually have an easier time on Girahim 1 than Jim will, because he has that extra sword, because he does more damage. Jim has to do the intended fight that takes a while.
It does take quite a while with Goddess Sword, especially compared to like Longsword and Master Sword. Here it's just like, oh, okay, well there's Practice Sword, but that is just horrific on so many levels.
Practice Sword is a cursed thought.
It's cursed. It's cursed because also Jim's done with that fight. He actually got pretty good RNG at the time.
That was good.
Yeah, but Practice Sword is bad because 1, it takes a million years. 2, you can't beat the dungeon, so normally you'll leave and you'll go back. If you go back and the sky view is in the wrong layer, you will get a second boss in the way of 3 Stalfos.
Yeah.
So it sucks. You never really want to do Practice Sword Girahim 1 if you can help it.
Yeah. All that is vanilla. Thank you.
That is also insane, Alka. Required Girahim to Practice Sword.
I don't think I've ever had to do that, and I am so sorry for the runners that had to do that. That's awful.
Rather disgusting, indeed.
Alright, we're getting our extra beetle lock check at the end, which is a beetle!
Nice.
Beetle locked beetle. That does not really unlock any checks at the moment, but it's good to have. It will unlock checks at some point.
Having the hook beetle at those points actually might be quite useful for the linear mining facility. The 2 main ways people get into LMF, or at least past the first check, is either hook beetle or whip. So at least now it's like, you know, in the way that Miyamoto intended with the hook beetle, but we don't know when the whip will come along.
So, an interesting conundrum. Sledge might actually be in a slightly better position, because where in the heck is our tablets? And the answer is probably on Thunderhead or Kikwi Relic. And Sledge has a little bit of a lead in terms of going to Thunderhead because he has that extra sword, and also cleared out a couple extra checks on Skyloft that Jim is probably now going to go do because he doesn't know that it's not item in Bird's Nest. So probably Sledge has an opportunity to make up his slight deficit here. But it's really gonna be rando, where is the actual item?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that's... Well, ultimately... Also, H, by the way, on Sledge and 10. There we go, H. Is it H or H? I have no idea which one is which.
So I'm aggressively American, unfortunately.
Right, yeah.
So I would say H, but I think many a person would say H. It just sounds wrong coming from my mouth with my accent. I'm so sorry for my accent.
I think I really said H, but eventually I just got bored of saying the huh, so I said H. I just got lazy. I don't know. But yeah, so at this point in the seed, we're actually getting to a point where it's starting to close up. Again, we have no tablets, and this kind of happens when the tablets are really late, is that we start to run out of options. Yeah, so I think that, you know, both runners eventually kind of, you know, kind of join back together a lot of the time, and a lot of these, like, really closed seeds can often like result in whoever finds, like, you know, the tablet first, or just like whatever. But I think that this is definitely turning out to be quite a closed seed.
Yeah, Jim also now has that missing sword, but I think it's gonna go to Zelda's closet. It looks like that's where we're going. But yeah, Thunderhead does not need harp. That's true. So it honestly, because it could be Path is getting our ballad in Woods to go to Thunderhead, or it could be just getting a tablet in Woods on Kikwi Relic. And honestly, this might be decided by who makes the right choice. Personally, as much as you hate Thunderhead with not White Sword, I think you go Thunderhead. Oh no! Oh no, the black screen is back.
Can people still hear us?
Yeah, they can still hear us. Hey, Alka, can you transition our screen and transition us back? We are invisible. Did you know? You'll have to tell us when we're back. Well, we're gonna give you startlingly accurate commentary about extremely relevant things. Kate, how was your day?
It's going good. You know, as I said earlier, it's almost over. But it's going good, and we're back. Nice.
Wonderful. All right, Jim is on his way to Thunderhead. We'll see if Thunderhead was our path. And it seems Sledge is right hot on his trail.
Jim did get the sword, I believe, from Beetle at some point.
Yes.
Because yeah, that's what he did. Right, okay. So the advantage that Sledge has with his sword has been completely made up by Jim, because Jim has got that sword. I didn't see what the hint was. The stream kind of went whip, and
I didn't either. When I'm LMF BK chest dead. Thank you so much, Elka. Oh, there was another hint.
Just another shack hint.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I can never read hints very well because when I'm commentating, my screen wants to be at like 360p. That was Neighbor's Wisdom, something possibly required. I didn't see what the item was.
That is the 4th bottle.
Oh! Good to know. Good to know.
How many bottles? There's 5 bottles in this game, I believe?
There's 5 bottles in this game. Yeah. So that's not quite bottle percent, but we're getting close. Is either runner ahead right now? Jim is probably ahead by a matter of seconds.
Yeah. As you said, the seed kind of opened a little bit, or it started quite open, but then it's become closed off very quickly. We haven't found any of the tablets that we really need apart from Emerald, but we have that. And so now both runners are down to like single-digit checks. Both routes have kind of converged, and Jim is like seconds ahead of Sledge at this point.
Yeah, Sledge also does have more money, but most likely both of them are hoping to find maybe a gold rupee, maybe a wallet. So they're hoping that that's not gonna matter. Oh, okay. That's not what we wanted to see.
That's helpful, just not right now.
It's not what we wanted to see. It would be probably not great for our runners if you have to get Harp to do Gorko. That would not be ideal.
It is a very real possibility that this closed seed could just not give us tablets in the near future. Instead, give us a chain of things to do upon finally giving us a tablet, which would be kind of not great. But it could happen. So we'll see.
Where is Jim going?
Skyloft, I believe. I think
What has Jim not done in Skyloft?
Not sure what Jim hasn't done, but I'm looking at Sledge's tracker that I can see on his
Beatrice?
screen. Yeah.
No, he's doing Betrow.
Ah, yes, crystals.
Oh, we're Betrowing. Is Jim doing 10 loose? I think Jim is doing 10 loose.
That's quite crazy. I think doing 10 loose is quite a lot. 5 loose makes sense. 10 loose is quite a lot of crystals, but we'll see.
I mean, it could really pay off. It seems like Sledge might be doing Zelda's Closet, which would probably mean that the best thing for Sledge would be to do the same thing. Are we accurate in tracking that Sledge didn't pick up 5 crystals that Jim did somewhere?
I believe so.
Oh my goodness.
The local trackers seem to match the stream ones.
Yeah. I'm unsure where that happened. Oh, he undid buying the 5 on, he undid buying the 5 on Beetle, that's true. So that means that if it is on Bat 30, that's a big advantage for Jim, and that'll be really rough on Sledgen. Jim doing this cute little out-of-bounds trick, by snuggling up to that wall and using claw shots, you can clip Link out of bounds and use it to pick up these weird out-of-bounds gratitude crystals, which only exist on the map to make it so that the area will ping for gratitude crystals, if you douse for them. So those are actually the inside Academy gratitude crystals that Jim just picked up, but he got them out of bounds without having to go inside Academy or Sparring Hall and having to, get the very slow loading zones and all of that. Yeah, those crystals were pretty free. Sledgen does have a little bit of that check deficit because he unfortunately put off Orion Pero, so he's gonna go get another bottle right now. Jim is actually going for 10. Jim is actually going for 10, it seems. Which, honestly, in his position, I get it.
I guess when you have both Claw Shots and Beetle, you can just do the 10 around Skyloft.
Jim, don't watch the cutscene. Shoutouts to Jim's favorite cutscene.
I mean, that cutscene trigger is pretty big. I don't know why Nintendo decided to make it as big as it did. It's just there.
Did that give him 10? I wasn't counting.
Me neither. I assume so.
We'll see. I assume that Jim knows how to count. But he wanted to move the gravestone back.
Putting everything as he left it, it's good.
Okay, that is 10. Yeah. Take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints. Put the gravestone back.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What you got, Patro? Okay.
More 5s. What's in the chest?
Oh, it's there's something in the chest?
There's something is in the chest.
Is it? This might be really good for Jim because Sledgen is now going to do Bat 5. Oh god, that's really good for Jim and really bad for Sledgen. Oh no. Yeah.
This seed could be one of those seeds where 10 loose is required. Maybe there's an extra 5 on Cakewheeze if Sledgen chooses to do that. But Jim having that advantage is huge for him.
I will say also that this is really interesting because pretty much the same situation was like the deciding factor for one of Jim's matches against Jasnix, that Jim was at a 5 crystal deficit, and so he would have had to go do 10 loose to get to Bat 40, and Jasnix only had to do 5 loose to get to Bat 40, and so Jim rushed Patro, and Jasnix went and did more Betrow checks, and lo and behold, Bat 40 was the only Betrow check that mattered that seed. So I want to believe that this is Jim finding his, like, vindication for, no, you're not gonna get me twice.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with Betrow is or getting loose crystals in general is, you know, sometimes it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
But other times if Betrow just has something, then it's my goodness, does it pay off?
Also, as we saw from Jim's routing there, if you route it pretty cleanly, it's not actually that bad to do 10 loose, especially with the clip. The clip makes things pretty easy and nice. Oofies, Sledgen is going to go do Beatrice, which you never want to see, because Sledgen's really digging for that tablet. But Jim is now beyond the bottleneck, except for the fact that he is still missing 2 bottles. So, Jim, can you go pick up some bottles for me?
Yeah, I think that... Oh, there's just crystals, just to rub in...
Yeah, always,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I guess there could be a silver lining here for Sledgen in the case that obviously Jim didn't do Beatrice, Jim didn't do Kickweeze. If Sledgen ends up doing these and he finds something really, really useful, that could be good for Sledgen in the long run. Because Jim, by going to Elden, he's probably not going to be doing either of those checks for a very long time. So if Sledgen finds something useful on those checks, then that could be good for him. Otherwise, yeah, it's Jim.
Yeah,
Jim found a gold mine in that ruby tablet there.
Yeah, that's definitely not, like, the race is definitely not decided by any means, especially when you're talking about like this high level of gameplay. But this is definitely a rough deficit for Sledgen to have to do. And it seems like Sledgen did go back and buy those 5 gratitude crystals, so maybe he's gonna do Beatrice and then do 10 loose for Bat 30, which it still is quite the catch-up game to play, but is a lot better than if he went and did Kiwi Elder first. Don't do unnecessary Kikwis. Oh, is that no pings in Boko Bays? There are no pings in Ba Sing Se.
Interesting.
Oh, that's a quick beetle. So it seems like we might not be getting anything else in Magma Turf because nothing's pinging, but this check could be something. But we can still progress to the rest of Elden because we have Bomb Bag. So Jim's just gonna have to exit the way he came in. Yeah, Turf was not barren. It had Quick Beetle, but the rest of it was unfortunately empty. Also, shoutouts to Sledgen for messing with that girl's heart. I always just say, yes, I like you repeatedly. Always a possibility to mess with her, you know. What was Beatrice? I don't think Link held it up to the camera, so I don't think it was anything.
I don't think it was anything important. I didn't pay too much attention, and what I did, I feel like if it was something important, I would have looked over and gone, "Ooh, that's important," but I did not do that.
Yeah, it didn't register in my brain.
You can tell we've both been playing this game for quite a while because we all just like look at junk and go, "Oh, just forget about it."
No, it's illegal.
It's like, dunno.
It's illegal for me not to be a noob. I still feel like a noob. I've been playing this. How long have I been playing Skyward Sword? Insert amount of time here. But Sledgen going to do our out of bounds crystals. Well, that is Thunderhead to Scaldera. Oh, we figured that one out, didn't we?
Oh yeah, the ET Keepy.
Oh, Sledge tried to do my tech. That was unfortunate. Hi, fun fact. I figured out by accident that if you do that, and tap, left on the nunchuck and then slam the control stick on the nunchuck to the right, you can land on some out-of-bounds collision on the lower level, and you don't have to do the awkward, like, running around the railing thing that Jim did earlier, which often results in awkward jumps and bonks and stuff like that. But if you are a little bit at the wrong angle, you do just go straight into the void. So, the potential time save, potential time loss, you know? Now, unfortunately, we do not have digging mitts, so we can't do all of the digging locked checks in Elden. However, most likely we can still finish this dungeon.
Yeah, I think that unless the mitts are in like a not mitts, sorry, the I guess maybe the mitts, but also if the boss key's in a really bad spot, like on that mitts locked thing, then might not be great. But otherwise, Jim could do most things in this dungeon.
Oh, well, okay. Well, it's not the case. So now I can propose, as Jim lights his butt on fire, the most cursed layout for this situation of the dungeon. Hear me out. Mitts on BK chest, and then BK on mitts locked.
You're right. That's cursed.
Jim doing some absolute swag there. So these little hops that Jim is doing are actually skipping some cutscenes by being specifically over the lava when those cutscenes want to trigger. The game kind of assumes that you're already dead, or that you are going to die because you're over lava. It's not about being in midair, it's about being specifically over the lava. And so you can kind of trick the game into not playing the cutscenes because it thinks that it should not matter. Jim, are you okay? But
to swim.
Oh, that's valid. The water looks very warm.
Nice and toasty.
Yeah, going for all three is so scary from the perspective of running any percent, because the first two are pretty free, the ones going to the right or to the left, but the one that goes straight ahead that you have to do with the bow, ooh, terrifying. No, not for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
And now we see Jim is gonna do some bit, most likely to open up the back half of the dungeon.
Yeah, game
this is
perfectly.
This is a very interesting way to make a corrupt file. That's not my routing, but that's okay. And Sledge finally on his way to Elden, finally broke the tablet barrier.
Yeah, I believe he got a few loose whilst he was on Skyward. I can't remember if it was 5 or 10, but it was a few loose either way.
It was 10, yeah.
Okay, yeah. His advantage to maybe find something before that didn't seem to have anything. So
yeah,
at this point, Sledge is a little far behind Jim. The distance here is rather extreme. Getting caught on that wall right there.
I'm so both excited and terrified for Jim's ET routing here. I think Jim is doing my ET routing, which is the all dungeons style ET routing, which is called "What if I just never took any damage ever?" and also rely on the fact that the game is not going to give me a full heal. It's stupid, annoyingly risky. But you know, that's fine. We can do that. It's not gonna give me heart palpitations at all to watch somebody else do it.
I mean, here's the thing. I've been running a bit of all dungeons recently, and I'm a tablet. Hold on, that's a biggie.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah. So, yeah, just that patrol, it's crazy.
Yeah, so you're hoping that this. Oh, that's gonna be your full heal because we do have to reload the room. So Jim now has to damage back down. The other thing that you could do is take an extra death earlier to get your room reload, but the hope is that you can drag your low health all the way into the lava tunnel and then do Neck of the Dragon and immediately death warp yourself back to do the like central platform again, and then the room reload is going to trigger that back in time sequence that Jim did earlier to actually update. So it's going to open up the back half. Unfortunately, you are relying for that on not getting healed by items, and the game was like, now, I like healing you. Ooh, quite the payoff for going to Neck of the Dragon, though. Don't skip Neck of the Dragon, y'all.
Sometimes it's just a sword just stuck in there. Don't know what the dragon was doing eating a sword, but here we are.
Oh, I love the power move of chucking a bomb at the wall and having it bounce back at you.
Yeah.
Alright, Jim, where are you going? Oh, it did... Did Single Office also ping? I missed that. Oh, no, West Side pinged. Okay. That's what we were doing. Oh, that's also gonna be good for Jim, finding an extra wallet, because that more than negates Sledge's slight lead as far as money went. That's very unfortunate for Sledge.
The money in this game is quite interesting. It's like you start with 300, then you get a wallet upgrade. Okay, 500. Then you get another wallet upgrade. I can't remember off the top of my head how much this is, like 1,000.
800, I think.
Yeah.
Or is it 800 or 1,000? It might be 1,000.
I think. Oh, there's obviously like extra wallets which added 300 and things like that. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. About 1,000. That's cool. Then you blink, and then look at Jim's money.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Absolutely ridiculous. It's also interesting because extra wallets will always give you plus 300 regardless of what wallet you're at, where a progressive wallet will give you more and more based on how many wallets you have. So if you're early in the seed and you haven't picked up any progressive wallets yet, you're like, oh yeah, extra wallet, that gives me plus 300, where a progressive wallet would only give me plus 200. This is optimal. And then you get a second extra wallet and you're like, and progressives would have been better.
Yeah.
Oh, that is Vanilla D.
Vanilla D.
Whole Vanilla D.
It was getting close to bad for Jim if that would have not been the boss key.
I don't think there's any checks left in the dungeon that where the boss key could be. I think that had to be a vanilla boss key, because Vent Chest was not pinging.
Oh right, it wasn't. Yeah.
So that means D, by the way, we've orphaned one check in Skyview on both sides. But we have not orphaned any checks in Earth Temple for Jim, and we are not going to be orphaning any checks in Earth Temple for Sledgen. So Jim can walk out of Earth Temple knowing that he will not have to go back. But yes, as Alka is pointing out in the chat, the big factor is going to be, will Casino continue to be nice to Jim, or are we going to have to go back and do Kikwis? Kikwi.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, Kika, do you know what the optimal way to do with Bomb Scaldera White Sword is? Because I don't.
Skyward Strike / bomb, and then some other. I mean, I assume Jim's gonna show us, so I'm. Yeah, it's a very weird. Okay, no, just Skyward Strike actually. It is quite a weird amount of like precise movements that will change depending on what sword you have, because this is it's a damage based fight.
Yep.
But yeah,
Let's hear for Jim knowing these things. Yeah, go. Yeah. Gorgeous.
Yeah. Lovely.
Gorgeous.
Amazing tricycle.
And Sledge and doing our little hops. Oh no, the evil bonk. The evil bonk.
Very annoying to bonk there. It just kind of happens, and it's just, yeah, just sad because you watch a cutscene.
Yeah, it happens sometimes in vanilla runs, and you're just like, no, come back.
Yeah.
All right, we got the strict downgrade on Heart Container.
The downgrade, yeah.
Alright, let's see what route Sledge takes through Earth Temple. Earth Temple's routing is just like really interesting to me in general, especially because you can pick kind of between, do you want to go through all of Lava Tunnel, or do you want to do the back in time sequence? At what point do you think it's not worth it to do the back in time sequence anymore? And also, like, how do you do your damage routing if you are doing the back in time sequence is all like pretty interesting decision points that can help you save or bleed seconds.
Yeah, because I think like here's the, like the back in time and just doing it normally. When you have to get the when you have to get the rupee and lava tunnel, they're both about the same amount of time. And
yeah,
in some situations, one could be better. It just depends on what your health is at, what your damage routing is, and other things like that.
Yeah, I believe theoretically, if done perfectly, the back in time is faster, unless you have to go do, like, the single Azalthos chest, and that makes it, much different to calculate, but then also, like, it comes down to what are you more comfortable with, because I can't do peg skip, so like I am losing time to not being able to do peg skip if I choose to go through the lava tunnel. But it is nice to see our runners doing different routes from each other. We get to see a little bit more variation. Don't talk to Gully Jim, thank you. Don't talk to children.
that kid just kind of, you know, walks around just below Beetle, you know, and us just minding our own business would like to climb the rope. And
Jim, buy Tim. Jim, buy Tim. Please buy Tim.
He's got the money. He's got the money. Yes.
The moral victory for Jim. I'm sorry, Sledge. Jim bought Tim first. Jim won. We're only an hour in. This is like some sort of new record for the Season 3 settings. Buy Tim an hour in and just win. This is a joke. Jim did not win yet. Nobody has won yet.
We do like Tim here, though.
We do. No, Jim is not in no mode. Jim just purchased Tim the Tumbleweed, and Tim the Tumbleweed is a type of victory. Jim is quite a bit ahead, though. He got pretty lucky with one of just our fun little casino choices. And so he is already done with all of Earth Temple. Well, Sledge still has about halfway to go, and now he's doing art. That was a good arrow.
Very good arrow.
And he got paid. Wow. Imagine getting paid as an artist. All right. Also, Earth Temple did have our Amber tablet, so Jim is probably off to check out Lineru. There's really no reason for him not to. We don't have Cave Ski, but we do have bombs and claw shots. So either side of the caves door, we do have some options to do a decent amount of checks.
Yeah, heading to Lineru. West, yep, that's West Desert is the
Yep.
Starling statue. It could be rather interesting there.
Oh, Sledgen is going to try to do peg skip here. Let's see if he gets it. But just in case he didn't get it, he stopped off on the first Lizalfos platform. Ooh. Can try again.
Yeah, he can try again. It's a little finicky if you want to avoid. Oh no, he's resetting it. Okay, he's all
Yeah.
good.
Roll, 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 roll. Oh no,
no, the keys! No!
Oh no.
I also didn't quite catch what that hint was on Jim, but it was something. I want to say a Triforce hard required. Couldn't tell you where that was though.
Alright, we got
earrings.
Fire Shield earrings. That could potentially unlock 4 checks later, but we have no digging mitts right now. That was a Gorko hint. Get Gorkoed. After Jim just did Gorko. Lol, 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 funny hint.
Yeah,
It hinted sword and tunnel. Ah! So, useless hint and useless hint part 2. It seems Jim wanted to, give Lineru Desert proper the sniff test, and then realized he should go to mines, which I agree with, he should go to mines. This is just kind of more advantageous routing. It's a little frustrating because, mines is mines, but you can, we know that something has to ping in mines, and you can't really go through all of mines backwards very easily, so it's just better to give it a loop around and then go to desert, unless you're like only looking for one item and you feel like gambling. So this is probably the safer choice.
Yeah, definitely safe choice to go to mines. Again, it's not very check dense, especially compared to the to the bigger sibling being main desert. You know, way more checks there. But
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, unless you're being aggressive, this is kind of something that you kind of have to do, unless you are honestly mad and want to just bet that these 4 checks are dead, which you could do. But it's
I'm
risky.
so angry. Rawr. So
D, by the
we're the D. Were the 2 checks in mines the 2 back checks? Is that what's happening? I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. So, a few things definitely pinged on Jim's end.
Yeah, there were 2
believe they were lost
pings, but
Yeah.
Jim did not go do the chest near first time shift zone, so I assume that he is confident that's the back 2. Mines movement is such a skill check. Like, you can either have a really, really clean mines movement that feels really good and looks really good, or you can get owned by Keys repeatedly. There's no in between.
Right, Sledge now on Scaldera though.
Let's
Jim had a
see.
really good Scaldera, so we'll see if Sledge can match that.
Yeah.
Oh, the rocks being a little bit stupid, which does happen.
Yeah, fun fact, if you have not tried to fight Scaldera yourself, in a speedrun-oriented method, Scaldera's rocks suck in that the collision for them does not always line up with where they appear to be visually, meaning that sometimes just Scaldera says, no, I'm wearing a rock hat. And you go, no, Scaldera! And then he forcibly gives you an extra cycle. But there we go. Sledgen owned Scaldera anyway.
Yeah. I think the last guy was a little bit caught in the main sword damage, but otherwise very clean.
Yep. Jim got more money Let's go capitalism.
I don't think Jim has anything left to buy. I think he kind of.
He does not know.
Yeah. I feel like he just like bought out the shop more or less, or bought everything he needed to rather.
Yeah, he does not have to buy anything else specifically. So, it seems like we are going directly for our bomb lock check over here. This is one of the reasons why it's great to have claw shots and bombs before going to Desert proper for the first time, because you can just clear so much in one go. So we're gonna see a lot more new checks quite quickly from Jim. And we get to now see, where does Sledge want to go? Oh, that's sword mode.
That is all the swords. I think from Jim's point of view, I think he could actually beat the seed if he had 2 more shards. Or Tringles, sorry. Wrong game.
Yeah. You Wind Wakering?
Wind Waker. I do that a lot.
It's okay, I do the opposite.
the amount of times I've called boss keys big keys and big keys boss keys is quite frankly embarrassing.
See, I just call the hook shot claw shots. I've called the Tears of the Kingdom paraglider the sail claw. Skyward Sword Brain go.
In very early development, I think it was actually originally intended to be a sailcloth. So very early development.
I secretly was correct. Heck yeah.
Not that I'm biased at all, but I think they should have kept the sailcloth.
Same. Jim got a pretty rock. Very nice rock.
Very
it
pretty.
Seems Sledge has opted to go straight to Linearu, whereas Jim cleared out some stuff near our starting spawn first. So that is saving Sledge a little bit of time, if he doesn't ever have to go back for those, because they were dead.
Yeah, I think that, at least from Jim's point of view, I think part of the reason, so maybe why he did also route some of these this way, is that, again, remember at the start, we only had 2 Baron hints. You're normally meant to have 3 in these settings, so that normally implies that everywhere else was, like, something. So in Jim's mind, there's probably something in caves, there's probably something in mines. Not Gorge. Gorge is one of the 2 things that was Baron, but things like that, right?
Yeah, that does mean that every area has some sort of ping, and also that with the current item or the current hints, those pings are guaranteed to not be something that like is absolutely unrequired. But it could be bottles, it could be extra bows, it could be the other slingshot. There definitely are still Baron blockers. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it is quite interesting looking at Sledge's map tracker on his own stream right now, and that's a lot of blue. That is just...
Yeah.
That's a lot of blue.
That sure is.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that... Yeah, Sledge's gonna get the sword. I think Sledge knows where the harp is, I'm assuming, at this point.
Yeah.
He's probably crossed paths with it at least once. So I think at this point, as far as no mode goes, both runners are going to be in pretty much the same position. Jim's slightly further ahead as far as Linearu's gone. So I guess he kind of has the advantage. He's probably done more checks than Sledge right now.
Yeah.
But,
also,
yeah.
I would say just in general, as a player who plays to full clear personally, I like Jim's routing a little bit more here, though Sledge's routing is probably trying to be a little bit more gamble heavy. Ooh, that is the second seed in this specific matchup that has had a Triforce specifically on that check. But Sledge is probably trying to make a couple more gambles in hopes of making up time, because he probably knows that it's very likely that he got a little bit screwed over by that Elden tablet placement. Hitting 0 chicks remaining hurts, man. But Jim does have the benefit of being able to do what pretty much he could have done just now. I thought he was going to do for a second, but he can enter trials when it's convenient. Also, he can hit mighty mode. Once again, Jim with the moral victory. But he can just route in those harp checks if it is convenient to do so, where Sledge cannot. And harp does unlock a decent amount of checks, even if a lot of them are hinted not hard required. There is the possibility that we could find the one that is hard required, and then Sledge would have to go out of his way for it. Okay, please, somebody go into the Linnea trial and go get the last bottle. Please. Oh, that was also very, very cute. While Jim had the bow out, he shot the little egg, because that resets the timer on when it goes shocky shocky. By making it flinch, so he just made it flinch intentionally with the bow while it was nice and quick, so that he can immediately pick it up and roll it and not have to worry about, like, hitting it with sword or anything.
Sacred
also
bow as well.
Yeah, that's bow mode.
Bow mode, nice.
Let's go bow mode. We've got a lot of our Baron blockers this seed already.
Yeah. Still no mitts whatsoever, and still no scale either. So
this is true.
We've got quite a few items, but there was some that was just missing. And I think I did see on Sledge's end, actually, when he did enter Boko base, that there was one ping, I think.
Okay.
I want to say it was the west at the top. So something could be there. Something could also
one of
be
our uppers. Yeah.
Something could also be in Volcano Summit of Boko base, which is still technically Boko base. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it seems like Jim is just going straight for LMF, and honestly, like, this is one of the things that my brain will always jump to in Skyward Sword, and is one of the reasons why I'm terrible at Wind Waker, because my brain is like, oh yeah, you rush your dungeons. You rush your dungeons because if it's in your dungeon, then you can skip the overworld, and the overworld is so much of a time eater. But I know in Wind Waker, the story might be very, very different, because with boss key skips, go-moding dungeons is a nice way to save time.
Yeah, like in Skyward Sword, it's way more, like, rushing dungeons is way more seen as, like, on meta, whereas in Wind Waker, again, as you mentioned, big key skips, it's way more, like, it's more kind of on strat to try and hold out and try and go mode dungeons, because you can just go from start to finish in Wind Waker. In Skyward Sword, you still have to look for that boss key, which can sometimes take you the whole dungeon. So sometimes go moding a dungeon is not anywhere near as powerful in comparison to the boat game counterpart.
Yeah. We have our early ping in LMF, and that is bow mode for Sledge. Oh, LMF BK was dead, wasn't it? Oh, that is our boss key. Okay.
That is the boss key. Did we ever come to a consensus on what this boss key is? Like, in my brain, it's kind of like a weird 3, but I don't know how many people agree with that.
Okay, so, people told me it was either a 3 or an arrow pointing to the right. And I was like, yeah, sure, I believe you. And then I did a hotfix showcase at some point, and somebody in the chat said, now that's a fallen over cactus. And I went, no, you're just right. That's a fallen over cactus. So I've been saying fallen over cactus, by the way, ever since. Was it Yal? Was it Yal who said that in the chat? I just remember it came from, I want to say, the time we did SSR co-op, me and Jim on hotfix. I don't remember.
I
might be wrong.
That is absolutely what it is. Yeah.
That looked like it was based on Jim's pings. East side was at the very least Sledge getting motion control jank on raising LMF, but that looked like it was the small key locked room in LMF, which is unfortunate because that is the one check that actually requires the small key. But hopefully this will be our vanilla small key. I'm putting in my hopes. It was not. It was capitalism.
More money.
Do you ever...
Well, now Jim has a lot of money.
Yeah. I'm assuming at this point, probably, I'm gonna make the prediction that you die, you do back in time, you do the back half of the dungeon, beat the boss, and then re-enter to do small key room. Jim with the optimal death. And Sledge is not too far behind, with keeping in mind that Jim has done more checks. Sledge has more of the world to clear, but Sledge could potentially skip a lot of those checks, and that would make up a lot of that deficit and make this a much more even match. So, in interest of a close race, I would like all of Sledge's gambles to pay off. And Jim is doing our Upper Academy bit warp, which is going to put him on the other side of the gate here so that he can go do back half of the dungeon. And he is opening the gate as well.
I do believe this is just like straight up quicker if you don't have to do a lot of west side stuff. It's just... Yeah, you just get to this other... Like, you don't have to... Yeah, you basically get to skip. Well, depending on what the pings are, you basically get to skip that entire section of the dungeon, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, it can be a little bit part of the hard part of optimizing LMF. LMF also, in addition to ET, it can be one of the most interesting dungeons to try to like find the optimal decision for. It seems like Sledgen is trying to confirm what his pings are from the front half, because there are two pings on the west side of the dungeon. One of them is very, very obvious what it is. The other one can be eaten by the back half west side pings, like the one that Jim is getting now. It doesn't ping from the back half. So, opening the chest there, or not the chest, oh, there's the LMF small key. Opening the gate there was essentially, Jim, you have to actually open the door. I feel like was a little bit of safety in case Jim did miss ping, and, the, like, Armos chest is also pinging, so that you can easily go back and do it, so you don't have to redo the bit warp. But I don't think it was pinging based on what we saw Sledgen do. So I don't think he'll be going back for that, but he will probably be going back for doing... Why are we damaging down? Just for funsies?
Maybe he's doing the back in time as well.
Oh, no. Oh, shortcut chest was pinging, wasn't it?
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, shortcut chest was pinging, because we know BK, but shortcut chest would also be a decent death warp given our item loadout.
Yeah, death warp, right. Actually, I said that, it's like, what other back in time would he be doing?
Jim, if you want to do a death warp, you have to save. Or is he opening up shortcut, dying to go back to the beginning of the dungeon, going through east side, and then coming back?
Oh, that would be clever, actually.
I don't know if that's faster. I don't know if that's faster. But in a way, it's clever. It's clever. I like it. I like it. I'm on board.
I think it's slightly faster if... Because, because from Jim's point of view, you have to, like, even from the shortcut chest, you have to backtrack quite a bit. And
yeah.
yeah, I think just running it through my head, I think it's slightly faster, but yeah.
It depends, I feel like, on whether or not you have to go into Bellows' room, whether or not it's faster. And he didn't double check to make sure that a small key locked room wasn't eating Bellows' room. So I don't know if this is the faster choice. But it's certainly a cute route. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna be on board.
It's pretty cool. I do think that one of the annoying things about LMF...
open... oh, because then we'd have to do back in time as well. Whoops. Yeah, no, don't do back in time.
I will say that one of the annoying things about LMF is how much all the pings overlap from each other.
Yeah.
It makes it very difficult to distinguish one from another, and you just hope that you don't mess it up. Because that's also really bad.
Other than, I think it was crystals and DK and a wallet, and that was it.
That's all I've seen as well, yeah.
Yeah, and the wallet might also be a Baron blocker at this point. It could be. Oh, Sledge also seems to be damaging down. No, just kidding, Sledge is death warping back. These have been some interesting locations to death warp. I can't say this is a play that I would have made, but like, it's very clever. LMF can be kind of weird like that.
Yeah, it's a weird dungeon, yeah.
It's such a very, like, straight line with spokes coming off of it that, like, it kind of sucks to have to reroute back to a different spoke.
Yeah, like, going from one end of the dungeon to the other takes so long. It's one thing. Ooh, fruit.
Delicious and dead.
Yeah.
That was some dead fruit. We didn't get 3 Baron regions, but we did get Gorge Baron, and that is a Gorge check. Did we confirm that there were pings in Bellows' room?
I believe so. Jim is heading in that direction, so I assume so, yes.
I mean, knowing Jim, he probably... Oh, yes, there is a ping in Bellows' room. I was gonna say, knowing Jim, he might just clear through Bellows' room anyway, because he can. And why not? But that is not required.
Puppies along the squares, yeah.
Alright, was Bellows' room worth it?
No.
No!
Not particularly.
Oh, I see, we're doing another death warp now. Which probably saves a very small amount of time. It does look like Sledgen is, like, right behind Jim in this dungeon. Sledgen has not done shortcut chest yet, so Sledgen has more left to go once he gets out of East Side than Jim does. Jim just has to go clear.
Yeah, like this is a little bit of like uncomfortable backtracking that Jim has to do right now. You know, it's just as you mentioned, going from one end of the dungeon to the other, even if you're like already quite a way into the dungeon, just takes a very long time. So, he's going through it.
And Sledgen will have to do the same thing. So,
yeah.
Also, Sledgen seems to have taken an unfortunate tumble somewhere. I missed when that happened, but that's an annoying bit of time loss in this room. We love falling off of squares. I will point out also that the runners have agreed to the... Jim, that's why we don't do that! But the runners have agreed to the break rules. So in about 2 minutes, we will be taking a 5-minute break. And our runners will be hanging out on the pause screen, and Jim can consider the consequences of his actions, and this is why we don't give the comms a heart attack by playing that so risky. Like, I know you can, but it's not always that you should.
It actually saves like no time because it's an auto scroller anyway.
It technically saves like a tiny bit of time only on the last one.
Yeah. Oh, I did the last one a little bit, but
yeah. I'm too much of a coward to do it on the last one. Fallen over cactus, by the way. That poor cactus.
I don't know how you write fallen over cactus in the chat. I don't think there's
there's a cactus emote.
Is there?
Nice. I think it's a universal emote. It's just cactus. It's not fallen over. I really need to make a fallen over cactus emote and just like put it on 7TV or something like that.
Hell yeah.
Like at that rate, like why don't you just get master sorted, I guess. At that rate, why don't you just have an emote that's the actual key? But you know what? It's funnier this way. Alright, can Jim beat Molderak in the next 20 seconds before the break? I think just barely. Indeed.
I think he's oh no, I think he's got it. Yeah, there we go. So he'll be forced to pause during the cutscene, which is alright because we have this thing called the home menu that we can always press most of the time when we're playing.
Yeah, Jim, are you pausing? Are you pausing? Jim has not paused yet. Did Jim forget that there's a break?
He's got it written on his stream, so
he does have it written on his stream.
I didn't notice. I didn't notice that Sledge was saving at the exact point when it hit 1 hour 30. So he did like pause a second too late.
Oh, future Jim said he started break 2 minutes and 40 seconds late. Okay, so we get honestly, as commentators, this is kind of fun. We get staggered breaks, so we don't get a break. We have to commentate just Jim, and then after the break, we'll commentate just Sledgen for a bit, because Jim will still be on break.
Yeah, the action never stops.
And speaking of action, auto-scroller! Look at him go!
Hell yeah. Well, I assume Jim is just doing nothing. There's a lot of things you can do in the middle of this minecart ride. There's a lot of things you can do, and a lot of people do very different things. Jim here is doing absolutely nothing, which is honestly fair.
Popular choices are pull out the gust bellows to, quote, make the minecart go fast. High-five the robots with your claw shots. Random skyward strikes. Always fun.
I like to just spin around. That's what I do. Yes. Make like a wee.
Chat spin with me. Also a common favorite pick. Pull out the harp and start playing a tune. Very nice choice.
Hell yeah.
I don't believe there is any a punishment for starting the break late. Jim just still has to take 5 minutes as a break, and it is nowhere near us being in go mode, so it is assumed that he wouldn't complete the seed before Sledgen is off break. So just a little oopsie. No biggie. But it seems that during his oopsie time, Jim is going to go full clear Betro.
Yeah, we might see what's on here, or we might not, because actually the break might happen right as he's entered.
Oh, yep, there we go!
Oh boy, we're left in suspense for the next, God knows, 5 minutes.
Yeah, for 5 minutes we have to wait.
But yeah, Sledge will be off his break in like 2 or so minutes, maybe a little bit longer than that, but yeah.
Yeah, talking about hinted items, I don't believe there's any hit items that we know the location of that has not been picked up by one or both runners yet. I think it's just Sledge still has to go pick up his harp on Beetle. None of the item hints other than the sword in Neck of the Dragon were anything that was required. Everything was just junk. So I don't really think that we know very much. We just kind of have to go full casino mode.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're starting to get to that point in the seed where, like, Jim, literally one item from go.
That's
It
true.
could
I
be
forgot we
anywhere.
picked up another Tringle. My goodness, I'm a dummy.
I don't know where the Tringle was that Jim got that Sledge doesn't have yet.
Sledge does have two Tringles. They have the same amount, I think.
Oh, okay, right.
Because one of them was on top of Great Tree and the other was on Secret Passage. Yeah, it's been updated. So yeah, they both have two Tringles. They're both just one item from Go mode. And so that does mean that this is pretty much down to Casino. And the only thing that's really going to make a difference there is that Jim has just done more stuff. So that does mean that Sledgen could just get real lucky and just check the correct checks 5-head. And that could take him straight to demise. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 rupees. Please don't collect 200 rupees. We have so many rupees. Um, but more than likely, he's probably going to have a lot of stuff to clear still, like in Lanayru and in Farron, that Jim already did. So, oh, Sledge is off. Maybe? He was thinking about it, and he is back. No, he's gone. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah. I believe he started his break like a few seconds later than 90 minutes exactly, but he's off now. He's had a break, had a stretch, and is now roaring and ready to go.
Yeah, it seems that he is also, as we mentioned earlier, Sledgen still has to do shortcut chest. I remember what chests are called. Shortcut chest here. So he's gonna do the slightly more traditional routing for shortcut chest of going to check the chest and then do a death warp back to the boss door. I don't know what routing was optimal here, as everybody kind of had to do a retread. This was just not a great layout for LMF. And you know what? What layout for LMF is any good?
Yeah. Long, pointy dungeon where there's no ease of access travel, like, anywhere. So, yeah.
Okay, my favorite layout for LMF. Early BK. No pings on east side. Then ping on shortcut chest. This Keith's being rude. Ping on shortcut chest. Everything else is dead. Bellowsless LMF.
Oh yeah.
Ideal LMF routing, if you liked it.
Have we seen a Bellows LMF in this season?
I don't know. I've done a Bellowsless LMF, but I am not competing this season. So
I remember one of my seeds I think was close to it, and then I found Bellows like right before LMF. That's all I remember.
I'm a big Fallen Over Cactus, by the way. I'm a big fan of Bellowsless LMF. If anybody is unaware, you can do LMF without Bellows by doing 2-bit interactions. One to open the shortcut passage. It moves a box, and oh, there, Jim's back. Jim's held us in suspense long enough. What are our items? The digging mitts!
We finally got the digging mitts. It's been a while, but we got it.
Yup. But yeah, you can do opening up the shortcut passage and then opening up the pinwheel door as 2 RBMs and then skip the entire rest of the dungeon without using bellows and then do the inverse minecart ride to get across to the boss. And then because we can skip parts of Moldarak by doing exactly what Sledge just did, we can do the entire dungeon without bellows, except we can't access half the checks, so you better hope those aren't important. Is Jim going to do item from Colin? I think item from Colin is where we're going. Oh, and we also have, do we have the archipelago item?
We have the toilet paper.
Yeah.
Well, not quite. Well, the other toilet paper, not the confused with the toilet paper that you used to go to Sandship. That's a different toilet paper.
We're giving friends toilet paper.
Okay.
It's actually a very thoughtful gift. They wrote a cute love note on that toilet paper.
It's just in the game you can actually use it as toilet paper if you so want. We just don't because it's slow.
This is true. Yeah, it's the same way as it is definitely a power move to reject Beatrice entirely because it just adds an extra conversation onto the check because then you have to talk to her dad who's really happy because she's sad because what a weird side quest that is. Yo, Sledgen going... That's really funny, actually. Sledgen sniping the ammo refill pot and then getting it with Quick Beetle, and meanwhile, Jim getting cursed, lol.
He got cursed, but I think his pouch was full, so it's fine.
It's also just in general fine, because he doesn't really need it for anything.
Not really, to be honest, not at this point.
Jim really looking at Sledge, admiring the lad. But, yeah, because we know that Summit is dead, so entering Summit is pointless, and we know that Sledge is dead, so, we don't have to buy potions for that, and we already did Oriel and Pero, so it's kind of whatever. Also, Sledgen unfortunately seems is going back to Lanayru, probably to go do caves and mines, which, unfortunately we know to be not what he is looking for, but a probably pretty decent play at this point. Alright, where are Jim's remaining checks?
Does he have one? Did he have the hop check in Silvergrounds, or did he already do that?
Yeah, he already did that. He did that.
Okay, right.
He did that and Gorko. We are... That's true! Sealed Grounds has not given us anything yet. This is actually a good idea.
Oh, this could genuinely be something, yeah.
This is smart. Please, I really want this to be our Tringle.
Oh, it's a scale.
Oh my god!
Okay.
Oh my god!
That could be disgusting if the Triforce is in Floria.
So if anybody didn't follow that, we knew something that was pinging had to be on that Sealed Grounds check because the rest of the checks in Sealed Grounds had not been pinging. They had been dead items. However, that check requires you have beaten all of your dungeons and have all of your swords and the harp. So, just like the most requirements in the game.
It's basically like for Wind Waker people in chat. It's like Ganon's Tower Maze Chest, basically, with the amount of requirements you need for that. Just add in,
yeah.
You have to beat all the dungeons on top of that.
Yeah, so we are aware that no remaining regions are barren. It seems that Jim is not jetting Floria. I'm upset. He's probably gonna go do Mitts things first. But personally, I would probably go for Floria just because we know that Floria has to have something, and we've already found a couple of things at Volcano. But this is 5 pretty quick checks, so, like, I can't complain. But yeah, we do know that every region except for Summit and Gorge have to have something. So let's go see what it is. Oh, we might also be hoping that this hint is something. What is our hint, friend?
I'll kick the Elder dead.
Oh, that's good.
We
That's
finally
good.
figured. We finally knew that was dead after after it being in logic forever. So basically, to recap on the start of the seed, in Skyward Rando in Season 3, we have 3 Baron hints at the start. In this seed, we only had 2 of them, which indicated that there weren't enough Baron regions for there to be 3 hints. Therefore, we could only have 3. Therefore, every place that wasn't Baron hinted, like Gorge and Summit, everywhere other than those places, must have at least something. It could be our last Triforce, it could be some crystals we don't need, or anything in between.
To be fair, we are kind of running low on crystals we don't need. So, and we also have found all 5 bottles. We haven't picked up all 5 bottles, but we know where all 5 bottles are. So, we are running low on Baron blockers. We also have every single bow. We have the Mighty Scatter Shot. We are aggressively running low on Baron blockers. So, like, what? You could find the Whip. You could find Cave's Key. We know Sand Sea is not dead. So, you could find TMS, true. You could find the Tough Beetle. You could find the Farron song. But a lot of those are not actually bait and would be unlocking checks. Alright, Sledgen has caught up in Lanayru. Yeah, we are missing 2 songs that would give us hints for trials. We do know, though, because we are not looking for a final sword, that those 2 unrequired trial hints are credible. We do not have to enter the Lanayru trial or the Elden trial in this seed. Both are just dead. Unfortunately, Digging Mitts did not seem to be the play this seed. But that is all right. You know what? Let's go to Floria. Please.
Oh yeah.
I want to see Floria so bad.
It would be quite. I mean, it'd be funny, but also it would make sense if the last Tringle was in Floria.
Mogmaturf had no remaining pings, so there are 2 Mitzlock checks in Mogmaturf, but they are both pingable from a distance, and so Mogmaturf is completely dead at this point. Our Baron blocker there was a beetle. Helpful beetle, but still a beetle.
Jim's heading in the general election of
Floria!
He's going there. Hell yeah.
Thank you. And Sledgen going to pick up his Digging Mitts. I can't help but wonder if he's going to rush those Mitzlock checks with his Bat 50 Digging Mitts. Which, again, unfortunate that Sledgen don't know what audience know. We want you to save time, Sledgen. We are beaming the information directly into your brain.
Okay, so you're staying on Scarlet for now.
Oh? Oh, he has to buy his harp!
Oh,
He
right,
has to
doesn't
buy
have
his
that yet.
harp!
Fair.
Alright. No. Oh, Floria also already did have a check, didn't it?
Maybe something at the start, but I can't remember Was there something on the?
Yeah, it had High Ledge was an ET
Ah, yes, yes.
So it's not guaranteed that. Oh, but just kidding, it did.
It's there anyway.
Oh my goodness! Oh no!
Alright, that is very much a go mode for Jim.
Required water dragon scale on Goddess Blessing.
I don't know if we've seen a Triforce on Zelda's Blessing yet this season, but this is about as close as I've seen, at least.
That's like a step removed from Triforce on Zelda's Blessing. Oh my god, yeah.
I feel like that's arguably worse, because...
Yeah, no, that is...
Yeah.
That's so bad. This seed is dumb, this seed is so excellent, I love it. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that is, in fact, GG's on this race. Unless Jim wants to just repeatedly die to Horde for, like, the next 20 plus minutes. That's always an option. It's probably not one we're gonna see him take. But, yeah, no, that Elden tablet placement was really bad for Sledge, and, I can't believe where our Tringle was. That's so evil. My god.
Yeah. Very much so. Right.
So
yeah. Jim,
what I'm
making
going
his way
to
through this.
Yeah, what I'm gonna bet is that I don't recall if Sledge did it, but I'm gonna bet that our starting entrance for Farron was Floria.
Yeah, it might have been.
Because otherwise that ET Keepy would have been scale locked, and that scale
Right, yes.
is locked behind beating all the dungeons. So I think what happened was, I know at the very least Jim did, and I think Sledge did the other early Floria trick. I think that despite the fact that they both already had that statue, Floria was the starting statue, meaning that none of the rest of Floria was in logic from the beginning, except for Ruby on High Ledge and one of the chests in Lair, and that was our intended progression, which is really interesting. This seed was absolutely diabolical, wild in fact.
Yeah, that's the type of logic that makes my head hurt if I think about it too much. It's just, yeah. Because that was because you had to go to Floria without scale to get the Itakipi, but then you still need a scale anyway. That was in Zelda's Blessing to beat the, no, that's
absolutely evil. Absolutely Yuck. Evil. And yes, that does mean that this will be our last match between Jim and Sledgen for the season. Jim is bomb bowling. And that means that Jim will be moving on to grand finals against Jasnix, and Sledgen will be finishing the tournament with a very respectable 3rd place. Absolutely incredible performance by Sledgen. These games might not have gone in his favor, but pretty incredible. Was the game footage messed up for a second? Chat has gone wild.
It's been fine on our end.
Yeah, we saw stuff. Anyway, but yeah, Sledge has put up an absolutely incredible performance this season, so absolutely GG's. But that means Skyward Sword Randomizer Season 3 is down to only 2 more racers.
Yeah.
The footage was gone for a second. Why does this keep happening?
Wow, that's strange. Yeah, Jim making light work of the end game right now, doing some really nice strats on Girahim 3.
Imagine doing the strats on G3 with the shield. Cursed, could not. Vanilla speedrunner and me cringes. It was not the black screen issue. Oh. Well, things are just sassy, aren't they?
Jim entering here. Should probably get maybe like a high 53 here if all goes to plan on Jim's end.
Yeah, probably. Demise in this game is pretty funny in that it is actually a very, very quick boss when done optimally. A very punishing boss casually, but in a speedrun context, if you know what you're doing, you just kind of stun him down. Jim doing not the shield strats. Let's go. I love not the shield strats.
Yeah, phase 2. Now Sword's got a bit of lightning attached to it, which makes it very deadly, but yeah, just a few spin attacks. Douche, 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 douche. Ah, now there's lightning on my sword. How convenient.
It's almost like it's scripted that way. And GG's for Jim with a 153.53-ish.
We're waiting. Yeah, 153.53. Very good time on Jim's end. And that means that he has won the set, and he'll be moving on to grand finals where Jasnix has been waiting for him.
GGs for the runners are not required, they're just polite. Alright, and we do have both of our racers, as this has been restreamed with a 10-minute delay. Both of our racers are in the waiting room. So, oh my goodness, and they're here now. Hello, friends! How do you feel?
Hello, hello. GG's.
Hello. GG's.
GG's.
Yeah, how do you guys feel about the seed?
I was very suspicious when we got the hint saying that the sword on Ruby and Lava Tunnel was required.
Ah.
Oh, you're right! Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, I think everyone, at least both of us on comms, I think everyone in chat was just like, oh, right, I mean, swords are pretty useful. It's probably just required just because, it's a sword. But actually, that's very clever how you connect it.
Yeah, I know.
Ah, that means that, gated time shenanigans, ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's pretty late in the seed. I'm very suspicious at this point because we don't have Cave's Key or Water Dragon Scale.
Right.
Which lock off two pretty decently sized areas. So I was like, I feel like there is a chance that, Zelda's Blessing doesn't just have the last sword, but has an item that's, has either Cave's Key or Scale, and is blocking off one of those large areas.
Yeah, no, that's smart. Water Dragon Scale on Zelda's Blessing to go get your Tringle is a horrendous piece of progression right there. Oofy doofy. Hilarious, though. Excellent to watch.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that, in general, this race was actually rather interesting. At the start, I think both of you took quite different routes, where Sledge and you stayed in Farron. Jim, you did a lot more stuff on Skyloft. Eventually, those routes kind of converged, and you guys were about in the same place where the seed was being very close, didn't find any tablets. And then Jim, I think the biggest thing that gave Jim the initial boost was that, Jim, you did 10 loose relatively early on, when you only had a few checks left, and then you found the Ruby tablet on, I think it was Patrol 30. Or the chest, yeah. And Sledge did a few more things before that, so that gave Jim the initial boost. And then from there, again, routes were somewhat similar, but I think from there it was basically like the script of the seed was basically like, do dungeons and then look for the last few things and then just basically see who goes to Zelda's Blessing first after all that. So yeah, I think that it was quite an interesting race. But yeah, I think especially getting that Ruby tablet early definitely helped you a lot, Jim, in this win.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's like I do want to know, like, is there anything, like, any reason in particular you chose to get 10 loose specifically this seed, or is it just that's just what made sense at the time, or yeah, what else? What the thought process was behind that?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't... Like, I don't think 10 loose, especially with claw shots and beetle, doesn't take very long to do.
Right.
So... And it was in logic to get 10 gratitude crystals at the time. So I wasn't going out of logic with it at all.
Yeah, it was very interesting that so Sledge had to go back for bat 30, I believe, and it kind of really was a very deciding factor early on for that early lead that Sledge and you undid buying the 5 gratitude crystals on Beetle. Despite the fact that early on, that was kind of the lead you were holding on to, was that you got more money than Jim did, and Beetle had so much. Which is very interesting. Kind of shows you that things can go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just dismissed that required hint on the progressive sword in Rupee and Lava Tunnel too much.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times that Zelda's Blessing has led to a Triforce in this season is next to none. It almost never happens. So because I'm so not used to it, I kind of dismissed it in my mind when I really shouldn't have. And so I was just kind of rooting under the assumption that, it could be some other item that just ends up leading to the final sword. So yeah, I kind of regret not paying more attention to that. But otherwise, the seed was kind of normal, I guess. It was just S3 seed that goes into a bottleneck, into a tablet, and then gets a bit more open after that.
Yeah, I mean, we had to complete the dungeons in the intended order, just due to where the tablets were.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, but yeah, either way, Sledge, you will be finishing this tournament in 3rd place. So I wanted to ask how you feel about your tournament run, about your final placings, and just do you have any thoughts in general?
When I did the qualifiers and I realized I got seeded 4th, I was very surprised because the qualifiers went so well for me that it kind of felt like a fluke. And, when I went into the losers bracket after facing Yao against you, I was like, okay, I'm gonna, make some plans to do, I don't know, the Wind Waker Mini Blunts tournament, because I might get knocked out. And then I kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going, and I really just could not have imagined making it this far. And yeah, to be 3rd place in SSR when I can literally just remember starting out my 1st seed at the end of October in 2023 is just crazy. I'm really happy, definitely.
Is a hell of an accomplishment. Absolute GGs. A lot of hard-earned victories, and hey, now you get to chill and join us for the co-op All Sanity in 11 days or whatever, right?
Yay, I'm free.
That, yeah.
Also, yeah, that's exciting.
But yeah, on Jim's end, you will be heading into grand finals to face Jasnix, who is right now waiting for you there. Wonder if you have any thoughts on that at all?
I guess we'll see if I can win a game.
Jasnix is
this
very...
will be a rematch.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and Jasnix is had a very strong showing this this season. But I do have a really good feeling that it's going to be a really entertaining set, and I think both of you are going to put up some really good times. So as a viewer, I look forward to watching these, and I will wish you good luck.
Early Zelda's Closet can only help so much.
I was gonna say, do you feel better about? I know one of your games against Jasnix kind of went awry when you didn't opt to do loose gratitude crystals and then missed a tablet and had to double dip Patro, and this time you did the exact opposite and Sledge got screwed over by the exact same thing. Does it feel like cosmic vindication?
I mean, honestly, I didn't remember that until you mentioned it. I only remembered the early Zelda's Closet thing.
Yeah, that's also true. Early Zelda's Closet was wild.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how much early Zelda's Closet has paid off for Jasnix this season, because I remember asyncing like a Jasnix versus Adri match where it had Whip, and Whip was really late into the seed, and it gave him a huge lead in that one as well. Yeah. But yeah, good luck for sure on Brand's gym. It's going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks.
It's
I'm
gonna
sure
be...
it will be exciting.
Yeah.
Do we have any final thoughts before we pass things back off to our restreamer?
I think I'm good.
Skyward Sword Rando Fun. Hooray.
I agree. Wonderful. Thank you so much for hanging with us, y'all. Kickout, do you have any final thoughts?
No, other than I second the thing that Jim said. Scouts
Yeah,
are
yeah.
no fun.
Yeah. Elka, say things!
Things.
Wonderful!
Besides that, a big thanks to both of our commentators, KitKat and PV, for this one, and also big thanks to Baseball for tracking this race. So yeah, congratulations to Jim facing Jasnix in the grand finals, and also congratulations to Sledge for gaining the bronze medal of the tournament, which is already awesome. So yeah, grand finals match will be scheduled later, and we hope we'll be able to restream that one. That's it for Skyward Sword for today. We still have a lot of matches on schedule for tonight. We probably have on schedule a Wind Waker Randomizer Mini Blitz tournament race. It's the Goma Group Grand Finals Game 1 between Joshua and Loja. So it will be at in 2 hours and 30 minutes. So definitely watch that one if you are interested in Wind Waker. Gonna be a very fun match. And we have another Wind Waker Randomizer match tomorrow, but this time it will be the Helmalrock King group finals between Nintibo and Bacon for Pressy. And it will be at 3 PM Eastern. So yeah, that's it for us for tonight. Thanks everyone, and see you later. Bye!
Bye-bye.